What is going on, Diesel Nation? We're excited to have you guys with us today on the Diesel Podcast. We've got a really cool show for you. We're going to be chatting with Gateway Car Connection, and they specialize in selling pre-2007 diesel trucks that have extremely low miles. I've been following them for a while, and like for example, they have a 12 valve in 1995 with like 54,000 miles on it. There's an LBZ with 45 or 46, a 7.3 Powerstroke with about the same. And I mean, those trucks, they're, a lot of us weren't in a position to get them when they were new, or we got busy with other things and just time kind of slipped by. But if you're in the market for it, one of those now, or you might be in the future, you're definitely going to want to listen to this episode. I wanted to ask them, where do they find these trucks? And then once they get them, what do they do to make sure that it's as clean, as they're billed as? Do they go through them? What kind of maintenance do they do? If you're a buyer, how do you know that that truck's been gone through from front to back? You know exactly what you're getting. So it's going to be a really interesting podcast. Before we get to it, though, we want to remind all of you, if you're not on our Discord, you need to get on Discord. We started a Discord server, and it's for our hardcore diesel podcast fans. They're for, people who live, eat, and breathe diesel. And we wanted one place where everybody could come together and chat, share technical information, ask questions. I've been getting a ton of great feedback over the last couple weeks, and I think since last Friday, we've gone up or basically doubled the amount of people that are on there. And some of the questions you guys are asking on there, I'm incorporating into episodes and, doing 600 horsepower recipes. And there's lots of great conversation back and forth. And, we've been talking recently about the current trucks and what kind of performance gains do you get with an emissions intact truck. And guys are posting them up, saying what they've done to them, the difference versus stock. And then, we also have a group of Discord members who, are talking about the pre-07s and why those are better and the things you can do to them. So you need to jump on there. You're going to find the link. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description below, or if you go to Instagram, just go to our bio. You'll be able to jump on Discord right from there. We also have started a Patreon, and I want to take just a brief moment before we get to the podcast to tell you why we did it. The first reason is we're not bankrolled by another company. We're not part of a media group. We don't work at a diesel place and sell parts during the day and then do a podcast in the afternoon to get you to buy parts from us. We felt that as it pertained to diesel trucks, we weren't seeing a really important side of it, which is the human side. It's easy to talk about parts and sales and give out a discount code and things like that, but what about the human stories behind it? What about what the trials and tribulations that, your favorite racer went through to get to that point, or your favorite diesel company, or, why did somebody choose to restore a Ford OBS Powerstroke? What was it about their childhood that ingrained that truck to them? And now later in life, they're going through and fully restoring it. And so that's what we wanted to do. And it's not expensive. It's as low as $3 per month, and you get a ton of perks with it. You get episodes early. You can chat with us direct. You can have your truck entered to be our podcast cover for a month. So if you're looking for exposure for your truck, want to be more involved with the podcast and be able to really help, influence it, then it's a great way to be able to do that. And this podcast exists because of you guys. You guys have given us tons of great direction over the years, and we appreciate it. And we wanted to create an avenue for you guys to be even more involved with the podcast. All right, let's get to today's show with Anthony from Gateway Car Connection and chatting with him about how he finds these super clean pre-07 diesel trucks and how you can get a hold of one. Anthony, welcome to the Diesel Podcast. I always enjoy chatting about diesel trucks, but especially really clean pre-2007 trucks, and you guys seem to have a ton of them. So this is going to be a fun podcast. Look forward to chatting with you today.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
I've started following you guys on Instagram a while ago, because always in the back of my mind, I think, I'd love to pick up an 05 Ram or a LB7 Duramax or a 7.3 Powerstroke. And whenever I look around me, it's like 200,000 or 300,000 miles or more, or it's just, I know it's going to take a lot of work. So I wanted to have you chat with us about Gateway Car Connection, what you guys specialize in, and the kind of trucks that you guys get on the lot there.
Yeah, man, I'd love to. Basically, we do only pre-emissions. So we do, the LLY, LBZ, Duramax. We do the 7.3 Powerstroke, OBS body style and the new body style, up into 03. And then, we do the 5.9 Cummins. So, I mean, we kind of got into it because that's what's reliable. I sold like 360s like 4 years ago, and every one of them had problems. So I went back to strictly the tried and true.
And you guys are in Missouri, right?
Yeah, we're in Eureka, Missouri, about 25 minutes from Lambert Airport.
And I bet you guys get a lot of people from out of state all over the country because you guys do a fantastic job on Instagram posting trucks. Like one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm looking for something and there's like two pictures and they look like they were taken with a phone like 15 years ago. But you guys have, like, I see the interior, I see the back seat, I see the engine. The descriptions are fantastic, and so that's why I spend so much time just looking. And I know they don't last for very long because they're always sold out right away. But just how you guys put that all together for a diesel enthusiast is just so cool because you're showing and telling us what it is we want to see about a truck we're going to buy.
Yeah, it kind of started out, man. Like, honestly, like we just love taking pictures of them and videos of them. We started putting them up, and they kind of went viral. And a lot of out of state guys were like, man, I like these videos. That's what sold me on the truck. I don't have time to really come out there, but I see every inch of it. It's almost like I took it for a drive. I can see myself sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And we've sold to every state, including Alaska and Hawaii, and we even sold one to Kuwait. So the videos and the pictures and the thoroughness of how we do it, with the advertisement is definitely what, gets the out-of-state buyers. I hate looking at a truck and there's 6 pictures that look like they got taken with a potato.
Yeah.
And the guy tells me it's perfect. What I mean?
Well, it's really interesting. You mentioned picturing yourself in the driver's seat, and that's exactly what I do when I'm looking through them. I'm like, okay, that red 12 valve, I could see myself driving that. Or what about this?
I go sit in it sometimes at lunch, and I'm like, God, I love this thing. Like, this is the gateway car collection. You know what I mean?
It's out of a time machine. I mean, it literally is.
Yeah, and the pictures, on some of the trucks, man, the pictures don't even do it justice. I mean, it's, some of these trucks, they've got the, paper tags on the brake lines, still from the factory. It's insane.
How do you come across these trucks?
Okay, so it started out, I started the dealership and I was doing a little bit of everything: cars, trucks. There'd be like a lifted Jeep out there. And then I noticed that I just really enjoyed the trucks. So that I very quickly narrowed it down to just trucks, right? Well, I started finding these, this is 3.5, 4 years ago. I started finding these pre-emissions trucks, and I'm like, man, I'd find them with 180, 200,000 miles. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Well, then once in a while I'd get one with like 80,000 miles. And that was always the most enjoyable, obviously, because it's more rare. Well, once you start having a few of those and buying a few of those, and telling guys that you're buying those, word kind of spreads. I'd say, I think 88%, I think we last figured it, comes from word of mouth.
Wow.
We buy one from somebody and they tell somebody and they tell somebody, and we encourage them to tell people. And I think 88% of our inventory comes from word of mouth, of people just saying, hey, these are the guys to sell your truck to. If you want no BS, you don't want to put it on Craigslist and talk to 87 people, make one phone call, and we'll be there the next day with cash. So
well, that's something that's really nice too, because I've always hated selling vehicles myself. It is such a pain to deal with the calls and the texts, and then people who want to look, and I just don't want to deal with that. If I'm ready to move on from something, I'm ready to move on from something. But then on the other side, if I'm in the market, I want to be able to know as much about it as I can. And I think that's what really stood out about what you guys are doing is there's that enthusiast side that I can just tell comes through, whether it's the pictures or the descriptions. And there's something for everybody. There's Powerstrokes, Cummins, Duramax. I think I saw a first gen on there maybe a few months back or late last year.
We had a few first gens. We actually sold Sal Frisilla first gen over at First Form. So he bought a 1990 from us, a black one. You got to remember, when guys are selling these trucks to us, these are the type of guys you're talking about. You're not talking about, a 20-year-old kid, that can throw it on Craigslist. You're talking about a guy that bought this truck new, it's his baby. He's moved on from it. Maybe he stopped camping, and he just wants an easy transaction. He doesn't want any BS. He doesn't want any tire kickers. He calls me and I can say, he goes, hey, this is what I want. And I can say yay or nay, within 5 minutes. And, that's what really appeals to guys, to sell to us. And then they know that we can take it and, advertise it to the market. And with the following we have, we can, make a profit off of it, obviously.
Yeah, that's definitely hard to find, yourself. And for years I've done that, as I would look around and I try to, search locally or look on different places, but I just couldn't really find what I wanted. And that's what, really jumped out and why I wanted to do an episode with you is I feel like I can just subscribe to your page and see what comes up, and I'm going to find something within a couple weeks. If I've got cash in hand, I'm going to find it. And I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one of the biggest things we found, a lot of these guys do want to pay with cash, but some of them don't want to eat up their cash. So we found a place that'll finance these older trucks, at low interest, pretty much any term you want to go. And that was kind of a pivotal point for us, because you're not only finding guys with cash, you're finding guys that have the credit to just hop on here, get financed, boom, the money's in their account the next day.
Yeah.
And really like that, because you've got a low interest loan on an appreciating asset. Like these trucks, it's no secret that they're going up in value.
Yeah.
So I can jump on, get a loan, and he knows that in 5 years the truck's worth more than what he paid for it.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do with anything, especially something you're using.
Now, when the trucks come in, what do you guys do? Like, say, somebody sells you one, you have it delivered, or they, drive it over, whatever it might be. What kind of process do you guys go through with the trucks?
Man, so, I would start with our process of buying and qualifying the truck. I mean, people are like, man, you guys are thorough. I'm like, hey, if a truck's from Arizona, everybody else would just freak out and jump on it because they know it's spotless underneath. But
Yeah.
We ask about hood pictures, the top of the roof pictures. Like, I want to make sure that, the paint's not cooked off. And we've got these buyers trained to pretty much in every state and every demographic, we know what to look for. Our buying process is the most strict, because once you have the truck, it's yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we even fly guys out, before we purchase. We'll fly one of our guys out to look at the truck and climb underneath it, look at the bottoms of the doors. I mean, anything that, we couldn't see in pictures, we check in person. And after that truck's passed all that qualification, I mean, history, who owns it, the underside, the tops of the doors, everything, after it's passed all that, to our standard, then we'll purchase it and bring it back. As far as maintenance goes, I mean, every truck, once you own like 600 of each truck, you kind of know what to look for.
Yeah.
But like the Dodges, we'll go through and, just do any front end pieces they need. We've got a pretty strict checklist. Any front end pieces they need. I mean, any fluids, we change diff fluids, obviously the transmission fluid with band adjustment on the automatic Dodges. We do tires, brakes. My mechanics are paid basically flat rate for what they find. So they're encouraged to find as much wrong with the truck as possible, because that's how they get their hours. And I set it up like that because I don't want a, skimped process.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they want to do a coolant flush, they do a coolant flush. They get paid 2 hours for it, whatever the book calls for. And that really encourages them not to skip a beat on finding stuff. After it goes through our shop and our mechanics, then it'll go to a different shop and get like a Missouri safety inspection where they check ball joints, tie rods, everything. After that's passed, that's when the truck gets posted. And I'll actually take every truck out and drive it. I have my own little checklist just to make sure there's no near rattle or something stupid. A lot of these trucks are getting dropped off in these people's driveway. And I want to make sure that when they hop in that truck, their rearview mirror isn't loose, something silly like that. Now, I'm not saying we haven't missed something, small, and my customers have called me and gotten taken care of, but we have like a 99.9%, filter that makes sure that when you get that truck, it's like new. So
that's it strikes me as so unique about this, because I've never come across a process. And like I said, I've been following for a while, so I read the descriptions and everything and the things that are on there. And I'm like, man, there was an LBZ I saw that I really liked. It was that silver, I forget the name of the color, pewter silver metallic. Birch. Yeah, something silver birch. Yep. And I'm like, I could see myself in that. I've always loved those. And I'm reading the description with what you guys, it did to it. It's just ready to go. And that's so appealing to me. For what these trucks cost, we know they're not cheap, but they're not made anymore. So if you want a quality vehicle, you're gonna pay for it.
Well, the thing is that what you can do, like I can buy these trucks with 30,000 miles on them. Mm-hmm. I can drive them straight in here, run them through a spray and wash, and just park them out front, and they're gonna sell. Yeah. They're gonna sell for the same money, really. But what I'm giving you is a turnkey brand new LBZ or a turnkey as close to new as you can get, 5.9 Cummins. And when guys come here, they know what they're getting. It's that brand.
Yeah.
It's like if you go buy Kraft cheese, you're getting Kraft cheese.
Yep.
If you buy off-brand cheese, you never quite really know what you're going to get. It might taste good. It might taste like plastic. But when I'm delivering these trucks, they know exactly what they're getting. And part of our sales process, even, say a truck has some imperfections, because it's 25 years old, we'll actually walk around and FaceTime you before that truck gets paid for, before you actually seal the deal. We'll walk around and FaceTime you and show you every imperfection. We'll climb underneath it, show you if it's got a little bit of undercoating peeled off, or, show you the floorboards, back of the rockers. I mean, anything negative that we can even pick apart, we'll show you that too. We're not just showing you the good. These trucks are 9.5, 9.8 out of 10, but we're going to show you the 0.2 to make sure you know exactly what you're getting before that thing shows up at your house.
I really like that, because I've spent time before going to a lot, and there was a 2006 that I found, and I really liked it and looked clean. It was, outside was great. And then I take it around the block and the turbo's screaming. And then, I pull in, pop the hood, and I unscrew the filler for the oil, and it's just bouncing all over. And, it's just, I don't want to do business like that. I just, it just puts a bad taste in our mouth as a consumer,
Yeah. And that's the problem that, that's why we're selling them nationwide, because we've already done every test you can do. So if you get it from us, it's going to be good when you get it. There's no guesswork. We take all the guesswork out. If a truck somehow makes it through the buying process and I get it back here and it has an issue, I'll wholesale it. It'll never go on the website. I'll do a backlot special. I'll tell the person everything I know that could be wrong with it. If it's not up to our standard, we don't Band-Aid and send out. You know what I mean? We have a strict standard that we stick to. And if I got to lose a little bit of money on a purchase, to keep my name brand, that's what I'm going to do every time.
Now, are there people who call and they're like, hey, I wanted that truck. It sold before I could call you guys. Can you put me on a wait list, or can you keep your eye out for, something that they're looking for?
All the time. If I sell a truck like that 27,000 mile 04, it's sold in like 2 hours, and I've got 16 people that called after that, so what we'll do is we'll actually put them on our text list. If you guys call in and you want an LBZ, we've got an LBZ text list that'll notify you. Every time an LBZ gets in here, we'll take a picture, send it to you, and it's kind of first dibs before it hits the lot. A lot of our stuff goes pending sale before it even gets advertised. That's why you guys see it sometimes with this, sold sticker on it. You're like, well, I've never seen pictures of this thing. Someone was on a text list, that's already missed out on the last one. And we've got the text list for 2nd gen, 3rd gen, LBZ, LLY. Basically whatever you're looking for, we can throw you on that list and you get an automated text, because there's no way for us to, keep up with all those numbers. I mean, sometimes I add 25 numbers to a text list in a day, and, it's an ensure way that we can try to keep up with everybody and keep up with the demand.
So what you're telling me is when we're doing this podcast, I need to go sign up for the text alert list for what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Now, as far as what you see from truck owners, is there a lot of demand for a particular year range or particular truck, or is it all pretty much even between the three brands?
I'll tell you what, it's pretty much even. Every truck has their following. So like the 5.9s have their following, the 2nd gens have their following. What I've learned is a lot of guys have that truck or are familiar with that truck. And I had a farmer call me and say, hey man, he goes, I want to buy this LBZ. It's got I think it had 11,000 miles on it. He goes, I've got one with 280,000 on it. He goes, I've got all the fuel filters on the shelf. He goes, I know exactly how to work on it. He goes, I want it. He goes, it's like buying a brand new, it's like when I bought my truck brand new. And I think everybody's got some association with a certain truck, and that's the truck that they're kind of hooked on. As far as which ones sell the fastest, all of them, what I mean? Our average days on the lot's like 2.2 or something. So they all sell fast, but everybody's got that following. So
yeah, I know I kind of look at a little bit of everything, but I really hone in on the 2nd gen trucks, because I was just a kid when they were out, but I wanted one, and it stuck with me forever. Like that's just something that I want, is a 12 valve. And so that's why that red one that you guys have definitely caught my attention, and I've seen some other ones, pop up as well. So I think it's a fantastic thing that you guys have going on for people who are into diesel, and that's, who's listening to this podcast are diesel truck owners. And we've always struggled with, how do we find something clean that we know is, represented accurately. If there is something wrong, we know what it is, and we just have the confidence to do it. So you guys were the first, place I can think of that I ever came across where it was all there. And that's why I really wanted to do this podcast, because we get asked all the time, hey, do you know anyone selling a 03 to 0559 or an LBZ? And I don't, but you guys do. You guys sell them. So.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And it's evolved over the years. A lot of our customers tell us they were weighing it out. They're like, well, do I want to buy a brand new truck or do I want to buy an 05 truck? And they're weighing it out in their head, and they're like, well, I can buy a new one, say it's, 70 grand, roughly, or I can buy one for half that, but it's not even the initial investment they look at. It's the repair cost over 5 years. It's the CP4 fuel pump, that the new ones have. It's a lot of things that, kind of turn somebody off about, buying the new truck with all the bells and whistles when they can buy one they know, is reliable. I'd say that's our main, point that, we didn't even have to do. Like, they made those new trucks like that. And I'm not saying they're all bad, but they do have things that they've added that cause the issues. You know what I mean? So when they're weighing it out, especially a guy buying 3 trucks for his business, we've sold to roofing companies that switched from 2019 Duramaxes to, 04 Cummins. And, he told me, he's like, man, I can't make any money if my trucks have check engine lights or in the shop, even if they're under warranty. He goes, it's still downtime. So that's what, I think appeals to the working guy that's going to work the truck. And then the other type of customer is just, they've always wanted one, that's their Sunday, take the family out to get ice cream in the OBS Ford, and that's why they're buying it. So
I think one of the biggest hesitations whenever I have debated an older one versus new is like the history on it, or, the mileage or what may or may not have been done to it. And that's what's always kind of had me lean towards new, where there hasn't been a previous owner. So when I saw, and what you explained earlier with what you guys do when you're just looking at these before you even take possession of them, is that gives me more confidence to say, okay, I'm going to spend $30, $40, $45,000 on this truck because I have the confidence to know, it didn't spend 150,000 miles towing a fifth wheel trailer, or, any number of issues that vehicles can have. So I really like that side of it too. It makes it easier for me to say, I'm not going to spend 60 on a new truck with a warranty. I'm going to spend 40 or 35 or whatever the price is for something I've always wanted, or always, really wanted to be able to drive every day.
Right. And the cool thing is that, even, when we buy these trucks, if we get it into our shop, that filtering process really takes care of any possible, even future issues. You know what I mean? So if you're doing the band adjustment on a 2005 automatic transmission, and that adjustment screw is, close to bottomed out, that transmission's at the end of its life. We catch things like that normally people wouldn't catch, so we can tell a lot of, we try to do a lot of preventative, things that might fail. If a Ford high pressure oil pump, has a leak or has a fuel leak, we're not just trying to replace the O-ring, we're trying to just replace the whole thing. We try to take care of not only problems that they have, like maybe tires that are 10 years old, but we also take care of any, future issues we might see. So when you get that truck, you can drive it across country, and that's where people, will fly in and actually drive them home. And I don't really worry about it because, I know what it's been through.
Yeah. That's really cool, and something that's unique. That with, like, with social media, how have you found that that's helped be able to not just advertise the trucks you have, but like pull in enthusiasts? Because like that's why I joined, because I'm an enthusiast. Do you get a lot of feedback from people that they just love to follow the page? They're not quite in the market yet, but they might be in the future, and they're just attracted to the pictures and the descriptions, and they want to know information about them?
Absolutely, I do. I have a lot of people that comment and say, man, I'm not ready yet, or, one day I'll get one. And I think I have a lot of future buyers that are, maybe they're not ready yet. Maybe in 5 years they'll be ready. And, my goal is to, have a steady stream enough to keep this sustainable and provide people with these top of the line trucks. We get a lot of support. We'll get some haters, that jump on there and say, oh, this is crazy. And then 15 people attack them and be like, you're an idiot. Like they've sold 14 of these this year. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we don't really engage in any negative on social media, but you know, everybody else will kind of have our back, you know, because they've been watching our brand and they know that, you know, these are some of the nicest ones out there. And that's what a lot of people say. They're like, well, if you want to buy, you know, one of the nicest ones, just go to Gateway.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate, I love that out of the following we have. I love that they know that, you know, we're striving for that quality.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things as far as negativity I'll see is price. But I mean, really, you can't find this, or you could spend a year trying to find something and do all the research. You're going to spend money, your own money, doing it, and
Right.
I've never really found that to be a really valid argument because these are sought after vehicles. They're not,
Right.
they're never going to be made like that again.
Well, you
And
can't go down the street and get one. Number
yeah,
one, you can't just go, well, I've got a 40,000 mile 12 valve that's upper 30s. You know, you're not going to say, well, I'll just go grab one from this guy.
yeah,
Because it's, you know, it'd be hard pressed to find, you know, a couple of those to compare. Number one. And number two is just the maintenance. They don't realize, taking the guesswork out of it, how much that's worth. You know, you can find one for $5 or $7 grand cheaper, but, you know, for a consumer that doesn't have a diesel shop, to go drop that off at a diesel shop and say, go through it front to back, do ball joints, make sure the tires, you know, replace the tires, do the transmission, you know, if it has any issues, fix it. I mean, you're talking a serious bill, you know, and that's what I try to explain to people is, even if they find one similar, you know, that might not be in quite the shape, but it's cheaper for them, you know, they're going to spend a lot of money to get it back up to that par. So you're not only spending the same money, you're going to go through the headache of having to manage, you know, hey, what did it all need? What got replaced? What got missed? And that's where we try to take that out of there. So, you know, when you get our truck, you know, you just hop in it, hook to your boat and go, you know, go fishing. So,
yeah, we've done a lot of podcasts on diesel maintenance, and so we know that there's a lot that goes into them, and especially if they're 20 years old. Yeah, I'm sure if they have that low mileage and as clean as they are, the owners did take care of them.
oh yeah,
But still, it's like, well, I can jump in it. I know the oil's fresh. I know the differential serviced. I know all these things are taken care of. So I think that's really cool, and I think that what you guys are doing is really unique. And for anyone out there that might be in the market and they're set on that 7.3 or the 12 valve or that LBZ, where can they see? Where can they see what you guys, maybe have right now? How do they get signed up for the text alerts?
You know, our current inventory is always on our website. So if you go to our website and there's like 3 trucks, you're like, shit, like all these on YouTube, all these on Instagram are sold. You'll see it go up to about 10 trucks and then go back to 3, and then it'll go up to 10 trucks and it'll go back to 0. And, that's the trucks going on there and getting sold. Gatewaycarconnection.com, that's our current inventory. But I would honestly, I'd follow all our socials. You can go on YouTube and subscribe and get notified when we post a video. That's a good way to, watch the videos. And then obviously Instagram, Facebook, we're on all of them, Gateway Car Connection. But if you want to call sell us a truck, we've got a buyer's line that's 636-587-0660. And that's to sell us a truck. If you want to buy one, it's 636-234-5456. That's both my, the cell phone numbers of my buyer and my seller. So, I mean, that's, we're not hard to get a hold of, and we are truck enthusiasts. So if you want to call and even talk to us, I mean, we're cool guys. We're not going to tell you to screw off just because you're not buying a truck right this second. I mean, I get guys all the time that'll just call and bullshit with me. And, and if I got the time, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had a guy that I had a 45-minute conversation with on Monday because he was talking about floor liners, and then we got talking about pulling trailers with a B&W turnover. And I don't even know where we ended up, but he's like my best friend now. So yeah, we don't mind talking, other truck guys like us.
Well, I appreciate you chatting with us and how receptive that you guys were to coming onto the podcast and chatting with us. And as somebody, like I said, who's followed you guys for a while and really love what you guys do, I'm kind of being like a fanboy right now. But I think it's really cool and really special. And I'm sure that I will subscribe to a couple different text alerts for the future.
Well, I've got the cell phone number now, man. I'm going to put you on all of them. You're going to be tormented.
That's fine. That's fine. They're just, I know you got to be quick with these. You can't wait around. You got to be ready, and they don't last long because there's tons of people all over the country that want the same thing you want.
Yep, and the best thing to do is if you see one you like, call us and throw a deposit on it. I mean, I've seen so many, sad stories too of guys that like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this color 6-speed truck for 5 years. let me go talk to my wife real quick and I'll call you back. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to be pushy with you, but this thing's not going to last very long.
Yeah.
And he's like, let me call you right back. And then boom, someone else will buy it, in 5 minutes. And he, I've seen devastated guys. Obviously we get him a truck eventually, but if you see something you like, just holler at us, talk to us. And if it's available, throw a deposit on it and make it happen for yourself. So
cool. Well, I appreciate your time today, Anthony. Like I said, love what you guys are doing. And, it was really cool to chat with you and see how you guys are doing business. I really like it, and I think it's something our audience is definitely going to appreciate. And hopefully, if one of them's in the market, they give you guys a call and they get that truck that they've been waiting forever to be able to put in their driveway.
Yeah, awesome, man. Good talking to you. If you need anything else, just holler.
Don't forget, Diesel fans, make sure and head on over to our bio on Instagram. Just search the Diesel Podcast. Click the link we have there. You can join our Discord, our Patreon. There's links to other places you can watch the podcast. And I wanted to give a special shout out today to one of our gold Patreon members. It's Austin Wright of Wrights Diesel Services. And, there's tons of benefits and exclusive perks that you guys are going to get by jumping on Discord, which is entirely free. And if you do join our Patreon, you unlock even more levels and more ways you can be involved in the podcast with your truck on the cover. You can be listed as a co-producer. You get episodes first, and you're also going to get episodes we never release on a podcast app or YouTube. So if you want more diesel content, it's a great way to get it. Until next time, keep the shiny side up.